Hey, all right. We're extremely efficient in our time, but it's approaching 8:30, and we wanted to get out of here by 8:30. So we're going to move to a closing statement. Herb Robinson is going to start. We'll give 1 minute closing, and I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody. Our congressman couldn't be here tonight, but he did pass on to the candidates his best. And as Tom Conroy just mentioned something about fighting disease. Republicans are attacking NIH funding. NIH funding here in Massachusetts is the lifeblood to this economy, and it's something that he has continued to fight against. And I would encourage our candidates to continue to fight against any cuts in NIH funding. So, Herb Robinson.
Okay. Again, I think that I am the one who has the most street cred to appeal to the independent voters and beat Scott Brown. But if I'm not, or if I am, we need to start now. Again, I want to emphasize that. Don't wait for the convention to get involved in the campaign. Get involved in the campaign now. We all need your help. And I'd like to thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Mayor City Bryan. I'm sorry, City Warren. I was thinking of Joel Bryan. We mixed you. Hey,
I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for giving me and us the opportunity to speak to you. I have a 3-year-old daughter at home, and I have a 13-week-old son. And I think about them every single time I come out on the campaign trail. I think about what kind of world they are going to walk into when they get older, what kind of opportunities they're going to have, what kind of environment they will be in. We need to challenge every member of the United States Congress and Senate, every leader in government, every candidate, to put this country first when they are making decisions. I want the standard to be the standard that men and women that serve overseas have in uniform. They don't have the luxury of squabbling over the differences between them. They have to put their country first because their lives are on the line. And every single member of the Senate and Congress needs to think about the decisions that are being made for our future the same way. Get this country back to work, rebuild the middle class, make sure we invest in all the things that made generations of Americans, gave them the opportunity, like my family had, to be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Marissa DeFranco.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming today and listening to all of us. I do ask for your support, and I would love to have the support of everyone in this room. What do I want you to remember about me? I want you to remember that I am a fighter, and again, that I also, Herb, has street cred. I have marched in the streets for women's rights, for LGBT rights, and for immigrant rights, and I actually have been physically threatened, spit on, and experienced that, so I do not back down from a fight. Working in the federal area of immigration law, an often hostile and very complicated area, I have the chops to go to the United States Senate because, again, I know the federal law and how it works, how it doesn't work, and I advocate for the people until I can do no more, and when I can do no more, what happens? I win, like I've been saying repeatedly throughout this talk. And so what I bring to the middle class and unions and seniors and the protection of Social Security, I will not back down on these issues because as a Democrat, we built the middle class on those, and we should never stop fighting. I am the person that will take that passion for you, advocate and legislate, and take my foreign policy experience for you, the people of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thanks, Marissa. Bob Massey.
Thank you. I think one of the most important qualifications to be a United States Senator, and I think this is particular to the Senate, is the ability to think about the long-term implications of problems. And so senators should be thinking not just about the United States 2 years from now, 5 years from now, but 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Where do we want to be in the next generation for our children, our grandchildren, and so forth? Some of the issues that we've talked about tonight touch on this. What kind of America with what kind of values do we want to create? One issue we did not talk about that I'm sorry and I'm sorry I didn't bring it up myself, is a major issue like climate change. This is a significant problem. When you have tornadoes in Springfield, when you have floods today, even in Worcester, when you have damage sweeping across the country in the form of droughts, this is a major problem which needs action today so that the United States in 20 or 30 years is not an unlivable place. And yet we don't see any discussion about that. So in addition to the backbone that I believe I have, and I hope I have explained to you in terms of all the things that I have done, I believe that I have that forward-looking quality that can analyze what the problems of the future are, what the position of the United States is in the world today, and where it's going. I ask for your vote. I have run before. I know many of you. I would like to believe that I will be your champion no matter what happens, not just this year, not just next year, but all the way through first term, and if I'm lucky enough, a second term, serving you for the long-term interests of the United States and of Massachusetts. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And Tom Conway.
Thank you all for coming and listening to us. We really appreciate it. And I ask for your support as well. I believe that the folks that I have met on my walk, and I would say that I've got some significant street cred, having walked 657 miles on the roads and streets of this Commonwealth, as I mentioned, over 125 cities and towns, and met thousands of people along the way, many people like you. I think the people of Massachusetts want three things from their next United States Senator, and particularly their Democratic candidate. Number one, they want somebody who knows how to beat Scott Brown. I'm that guy. Number two, they want somebody to focus on the right priorities, jobs. I've talked about that. I've got a plan for jobs. I've got a 4-point plan. You can look at my website to see it. It starts with infrastructure. Number two is helping small businesses. Number three is finding the right CEOs who will not export jobs, but will partner with folks here in Massachusetts to keep those jobs here and not export them overseas. And the third thing that people want is somebody who can be an effective legislator, like Ted Kennedy was. Somebody who can stand up and fight on principle and advocate on behalf of what's right for the Democratic Party and what's right for the majority of the people in Massachusetts, but who also knows how to create those relationships in order to be an effective legislator and get stuff done and move this country forward and win the future. And I have demonstrated that kind of effectiveness in the State House over the course of the past 5 years. So if you want somebody that can beat Scott Brown, you want somebody who can be an effective voice on your behalf and get results down in Washington, and someone who's going to focus on jobs and the economy and making sure that America is strong, Tom Conway is your guy. So please consider supporting me. I'd love your support, and thank you all for coming.
How about a big round of applause for our Democratic candidates for the U.S. Senate?